What's up guys, it's Matt Collins Jones here, also known as the D365 Geek, and today we're talking about Power Automate and we're going to check out the new editor in Power Automate. So if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that when I use the expression editor, it's just one long box. So we'll take a look at it here. So we've got a manual trigger flow and we have a compose action here. If I click into compose, we get this little pop-up box on the side. So we have all our dynamic content down here. There's a search box where we can search through for the dynamic content and search for like date and stuff. And we also have an expression editor, and the expression editor allows for this one line, so we can put in like all the content we want, but it's only going to go on one line, and it'll just kind of scroll across, as you can kind of see. However, there is a new editor in Power Automate that we can now switch on. It's still experimental, but it gives you a lot of cool functionality. So I'm going to show you how to turn it on. Just going to save this flow for a second. Test, yeah, whatever. We'll save it, and hopefully this will work. But what we need to do is we need to switch it on. So we go up to the cog at the top, and in the cog you have all your settings for Power Automate, including the new including themes. As you may have noticed in the last few videos, I've switched on to the unicorn theme because that's cool. But there is a button here that says View All Power Automate Settings. I'll click on that. And we get this settings pop up. So there's only 3 settings. So this is all the settings. So you have your display language, your region local format, and you also have experimental features. So this is an experimental feature. So it says these features might change, break, or disappear over time, anytime. So that's actually really important. Things that we turn on today, they may not be there for you. They may break. You may need to switch back to the old editor. There's a lot of things around this, but I want to show you this because this is kind of the direction that Power Automate is going. So we click switch that to on and click save. What it will do is it'll need to refresh the page. Cool, and it's saved this. So now if I expand the compose action, you'll actually notice that the whole Power Automate actually looks slightly differently. So there are labels in different places. So like for instance, this label's up above and it's kind of got this bigger bar. Similar things if we add other like text inputs and stuff, some things look slightly different. So just be aware that some things may look different. I think it's actually an improvement. They've kind of moved the labels around to make more logical sense and kind of shorten boxes and extended boxes and stuff. So it's all good. So if we delete this out of here, you'll notice as soon as I click into here, I have these 2 buttons here. So one is dynamic content and one is an expression editor. Excuse me. So we have these 2 buttons. So we can click one of these buttons, and instantly we see we have this instead. So we have, instead of this pop out on the right, we have a pop out like directly below, and we have all of our dynamic content. So you'll kind of notice as well is that there's a little bit of extra detail about some of these bits of dynamic content. So username, for instance, is a text box or a text field. So we've got ABC in this small little icon here. If we scroll a bit further down, we have latitude, which is a number, and that's got 1, 2, 3. So Power Automate is going to give us a little visual clue as to what type of data we're going to be putting into these things now. But it's the same as before. You can just click in, you can get some dynamic content. It looks like this now. So again, as I click that, it just instantly took me to here. It's got rid of the box. And yeah, it's just added it in there, so that's pretty cool. But there's also the expression editor as well. So if I click the FX button to open an expression, I now get this window. So this is a whole big window that I can type into. So I can write things like, contains, UTC now, for instance, and I can have these things in a much easier to read and much easier to understand window, and kind of add some formatting and some spacing into this to make it a lot easier to read. You will notice that the list of functions that I used to go through in all my videos, that's kind of disappeared. There is a button here that says list of functions, and if you click on it, it'll take you to the Microsoft Docs website for functions in Azure Logic Apps and Power Automate. So that's pretty cool. But now we get all this content here, so we can kind of go through this and we can add lines in and take data out and stuff like that. So we could click FX, we could type something like contains, and then we could put that in, and then we could search through for dynamic content, so username for instance. The only problem we have is kind of screen size. So as you'll notice here, I've got all this space under here, but I can't get to my dynamic content very easily because it's got a tiny text box. That's due to the size of my screen. If you have a bigger screen, or if you zoom out, I think it'd be a lot easier. So if I click contains again, as you can see, I try to get access to this again. So this is down to my screen resolution. I kind of hoped that Power Automate would be a bit more responsive in terms of knowing how small the size of my screen is and do something slightly differently. But this is an experimental feature, so maybe it will be in the full release. But yeah, so you can add content into here. You can search for, username, for instance, and add that in as as you would before. And once you're happy with it, you can just click anywhere and it'll go into the box. There's also a couple of shortcuts. So if you hit Control and Space, you get access to your dynamic content. If you hold Control Shift and Space, you get access to the expression editor. So that's pretty cool. Now we have a shortcut to get to exactly what we want to get to. No longer do we have to click in the box, wait for the window to pop up, from dynamic content, switch to expressions, or back and forth. I wonder if that actually works if I'm typing something. So I'm typing like length, and then space. No, it doesn't. I was curious if it would do that, but it doesn't. It's always good to try new things. But yeah, so there's that. So this is a cool new editor window. I really like it. It's going to make my life a lot easier. I'm already using it on several projects, just because it's going to help me with inputs quicker, and it's a little bit more responsive than the old editor. But as I said, it is an experimental feature. It may disappear, it may not be there, it may break, certain things may not work, so use it at your own risk. But I love to play with new toys, so I'm going to be using it from now on. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like this new expression editor? Are there any changes you'd like to see made to this expression editor, or this editor, I should say, before it goes into general release? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you like this video, please share it and like it and do all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.